Well, today I'm going to be making the bracing for the inside of my guitar. The bracing inside of the guitar does two different things. It helps to make the sound of the guitar unique depending on the placement and the amount of bracing that goes inside of it, and it also provides a lot of the structural integrity of the guitar. Since the guitar is made up of a lot of very thin pieces of wood, without the bracing that wood would not be able to support the guitar, and it would probably break or crack or just collapse once any type of pressure is put on when the strings are tightened, for instance. So what I'm doing is I took my paper plans and I cut out the size and the shape for each of the pieces of bracing that goes inside of the guitar, and I used spray glue and I mounted the plan onto a piece of rigid plastic. That allowed me to put the template that I've made onto the piece of wood that I'm going to cut the bracing from, take it over to the bandsaw, and then cut out the rough shape. So basically this is what I end up with. Now I did take this over after I hit it with the bandsaw. I then took it over to the sander and just rounded things off a little bit. Now there are a lot of special details that are kind of hidden that people probably aren't aware of with the bracing in a guitar. Besides being a certain size and shape, the type of wood that you use decides the sound the guitar makes. But also, when you're using the wood or cutting the wood, you want to make sure that the wood is oriented in the right direction. For instance, the inside bracing, you want the grain in this wood to go up and down, and that way the wood doesn't warp and cause the guitar to warp after it's in there. So this is what you basically end up with, and then I take it over to the vise and I hit it with a rasp and file and round everything off. And so this is what a finished piece of bracing is going to look like. Nice and contoured and round. Now looking at this, there's another thing you have to be very careful with when you produce the bracing, and that's that the bottom of the bracing has a curve that matches the curve for the guitar. And for the back of the guitar that I'm making, there's going to be a 15-foot radius. The front of the guitar is going to have a 30-foot radius, and this is a piece of bracing for the back. And what I want to point out, you'll notice there's a curve on the bottom of that. If you notice, it's laying on a flat table, but both ends are up in the air, and so there's a certain curvature you want to get, and that has to be very precise. So let me show you how I'm doing these. Okay, so I've got the bracing for the back of the guitar completed. So now I can begin the steps of gluing that up and getting it contoured into the correct shape. Then I've got to go and do about 10 more pieces of bracing for the top of the guitar. So check back in and you can watch the progress. Thanks for watching.